So what do you need to do to stand out? Well, yeah, you need to be found. And I've heard people ask me, God, at least 5 years ago, are you a keyword? And I said 5 years ago, you are. We're one of 500 million people on LinkedIn. No one knows your name. They don't know my name. They just look for keywords. Even if they're your closest friend, you won't know to look for them. Our clients don't say, I only want people who have these titles from these companies. When we build the LinkedIn profiles, we typically say, oh, it's okay. I'm just going to put my company, my title, and the dates in there, and I'm going to move on. And again, the only reason why you probably entered LinkedIn was to be found. But you won't be found because they don't know your name. So just remember that. So then you sit there and ask yourself, what keywords should I be found by? And I always tell people, think in groups of 4 words all the time. And you're sitting there going, I don't know what 4 keywords need to be found. Well, Google's a strong tool. What I would do is I would spend 15 minutes just Googling the job description that you want. VP of this, director of that, CXO of whatever. That job spec is out there. Read it, reread it. I don't care if you print it, highlight it, and then look at those words and do those words truly align to your background? If they do, you need to edit your LinkedIn profile. Because if you want to be found for that type of job, make sure it's not, your resume doesn't exist yet unless you've literally copied and pasted each section in LinkedIn. I do not recommend putting your resume as an image on it. You can. It's not something I recommend for different reasons. We won't go into that, but understand again that those keywords are indicative of what's going to find you.
Paul, it's Tony.
Yes.
So we've got our first batch of questions. No
Mm-hmm.
surprise. Help us understand, please, when you say always think in groups of 4 words, what that really means to an executive candidate as well as to a recruiter.
Great question. Let me expound. So if I need a VP of sales, but I need someone who's coming from experience in e-commerce, mobile commerce, global, and what other keyword that would align to that specific need. That's what I mean. We're under a LinkedIn recruiter, and I don't expect anyone on this call to have it, but they might. It is a bunch of search filters. It is long, it is deep. You can filter everything. And then there is a keyword section. And that's what they typically type in is up to about 4 keywords. And it's just those keywords that relate to a job description. So the reason I said it's typically 4, it's the start, because then you get back a search query of 600,000. Then you've got to put in more queries to reduce it. But those 4 keywords align to what they typically, most recruiters type in the keyword section.
Okay, let's take a follow-up question about keywords themselves. Sometimes it's difficult for us, the ones who are looking for work, to distinguish between compelling, really great, relevant keywords and the stuff that sounds really good but is rather generic. And we're wondering which one should we go with? I know it's not a one size fits all answer, but could you shed a little bit more light on that for us?
Sure. And again, it's going to totally align with the job spec. The keywords in that spec give you the answer.
Mhm.
The trick I tell top candidates is don't ever just submit your resume. And that's the first thing you want to do. It's the easiest thing. Don't ask to send the job spec to you first. Why? Because it's okay to edit your resume and align it to that job spec, because sometimes the person you're dealing with only looks for keyword alignment versus interpreting the resume correctly. So I can't say you need entrepreneur and all these other words. It depends on what's in that job spec that relates to your resume.